3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? This is the Undefeated by Choice podcast brought to you by Still Fist. I am here today with this month's co-main event, fighting for the title, Mr. Andrew Ariano. How's it going, my man?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you for taking the time out today to do this podcast. You know, you and Jocelyn train out at the same gym?
We do. Yep.
And both of you are clear out in Tooele, and neither of you want to make the drive out to Ogden to come do the interview live, huh?
No thanks.
I do not blame you, man. I do not blame you at all. I had to ask her last time where actually Tooele actually was, because I didn't know where it was.
Yeah, I actually used to go to Weber out there, and it's like an hour drive.
Oh, really? You went to Weber State?
Yeah.
Did you transfer to another school, or did you graduate from there?
I didn't. I dropped out.
Yeah, well, me too. We're both Weber State dropouts, but it's a good school. It ain't bad.
Yeah, but I liked it a lot.
But yeah, you'd hit me before you hit Weber, but not by much, because I'm pretty dang close to the school. So, and glad you didn't. That drive is well, from what I remember, because I've only been out to the Rocky Mountain Raceway once, and I remember it being a pretty brutal drive.
Yeah, it's long.
Yeah. So anyways, enough about that. And so the first question I always get into is the nickname. You're one of the few that has your nickname listed on the Tapology website and all the other websites. But Tapology is normally what I go to when I'm getting my fighter info. Boomer, where does that come from? Who gave it to you? Let's give us the origin story of Boomer.
It happened when I was 3 years old. My dad gave it to me. I ended up hitting my head on a lot of stuff, farting a lot, so it just stuck, man. I don't know.
That's good. That's good. Not rare. It's rare that the parent gives the nickname, the fighter nickname. Normally, it's like by a coach or another teammate or something. So that's been with you your entire life. Did you do other sports or anything else growing up where that was like the nickname that you went with?
Yeah, actually, that's what everyone knew me by. There's a lot of people that don't know my real name is Andrew, especially in school and stuff, because my dad and my mom always called me it.
Uh-huh.
And my teachers would always ask, like, if you wanted to be called something else, so they'd put your name down on the roll, and that's usually what I went with.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of people don't know my real name.
You know, I actually feel you on that. I had a nickname growing up, and most people knew me by that, and it would constantly change, but because my name is Matt Euler, and so everyone just called me Mo, and my brother's also a Mo, and so like it was he was Big Mo and I was Little Mo, but then I was like 280 pounds, so then I became Big Mo, and it messed around a lot, but a lot of people for the longest time thought my name was Mo. So I feel you on the nickname that you can never get away from, but it kind of works in fighting. Just, you know, you sounds like you're a stand-up guy ready to throw down. Is that the technique you like to go with most? Do you feel like you're a stand-up guy or are you a ground guy?
I like to roll with whatever.
Uh-huh.
Like I train all three of the major ones, like wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and striking. It just whatever comes at me, I guess.
Yeah.
I like all three.
I just recently watched your very first fight with Johnny. I can't remember his last name, but I was watching that fight, and I was pretty impressed with a few things. First of all, it's your first fight, and normally first fighters or debut fighters, they get in there and they're just throwing haymakers and you know, heavy shots, and you seemed very patient in that fight. He was throwing a lot. He had a lot of volume. He was you know, walking straight forward with a lot of punches, and you were just kind of seemed to be keeping your distance, and being patient, more like you were trying to be a counter puncher, looking for your shot. You guys got into a little bit of a brawl where you both were landing and connecting, and then you went to the ground, and I have to say that was the slickest rear naked choke I've ever seen. The way you transitioned to that rear naked choke, is that something? I mean, was that, looking back on it, I mean, that was two other fights ago. You're 3-0 now. Looking back on it, were you like, I was lucky into getting into that choke, or was that something that you were very comfortable getting into that, transitioning into that spot and getting that choke?
I feel like it was both. Gustavo Rodriguez, he's my jiu-jitsu instructor at 12 Martial Arts Academy, and he loves guard. We go over a lot of guard, and I remember him telling me how to do that move, and a lot of times rolling, I'd get there where the guy would overextend and I was able to take his back, but I wasn't really good at it.
Yeah.
Probably because of the gi, like both gis rubbing against each other, it kind of makes you a little bit slower. Mm-hmm. But me and that guy were both sweaty, so I feel like it was the luck of the sweat that made me go that quick to his back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, timing and luck and practicing it.
Okay, because I mean, I have to like I said, I was so impressed with that. I didn't know, I knew the outcome by looking it up, but then I was like, oh, where's it gonna come? And then as soon as you took us back, I was like, whoa, that came out of nowhere. That was beautiful. So congratulations on that. Did you feel like you were being patient? I mean, is that your my assessment of how the first of the fight was going? Was that your game plan going into it, or were you just? I mean, the first fight is always mostly a blur, but do you remember much of your mindset going into that?
I don't know. When I fight, I don't really have a mindset, I guess. It's like, I don't know, I guess I go somewhere else. I don't really know how to explain it. It's kind of weird. Like, you're super in the moment, and I don't know, I'm not really in the moment a lot, so I don't know. It's just kind of different. It's a different feeling.
I feel like anybody who fights knows exactly what you're talking about, and anybody who doesn't fight has no idea what you're talking about right now. Like, I think that's a common mindset of once you get in there, you kind of go to another place. You're in another place. You're fully aware of what you're doing, but it's almost an out of body experience. Yeah,
there's no thoughts. Mm-hmm. You're reacting.
Yeah.
Whatever you went over in training, or whatever you keep going over and train, that's what you do, not something you just learned last week.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. That's definitely the way. Most everybody explains it. That's just the way it is. You just automatically go to what you know and what you've practiced and what you've drilled, and that's why it's so important to get your time in the gym and just be in there learning constantly, because that's what's going to come out when you're in the fight. So, I totally get that. So we've mentioned a few times, we always like to make sure we get your gym properly represented. So why don't you tell everybody where you train at, who you train with, who's your main training partners, coaches, just everything you're doing in this camp to get ready for this fight August 9th.
So my main coach is Keith Asbury, and I've been with him since I was I want to say 16 or 15. I always forget which one, but he's always been there. 2 years ago is when it got pretty serious. I was helping Zach, one of my teammates in Austin. He doesn't go there anymore, but I was helping them every single fight camp. I was going to every single class, and I didn't really have a desire to fight, I guess. And they saw, I was getting kind of good at it, after time. Mm-hmm. And they said I should take a fight. And I was like, really? Me? I don't think I'd last in there, I don't know if I have that mindset or whatever.
Yeah.
But they ended up pushing me into it, and, obviously I accepted. And it was good. And now I have way more training partners. Truman, he's been with me this whole entire camp, and I really appreciate Truman always taking the time out of his day to come help me, sparring, drilling, really anything he'll help me with. And then I got 3 other people that help me a lot. Brian Cole, Brandon McCollum, and Keaton Romero. Brian and Brandon are both big into jiu-jitsu, so they show me a lot of jiu-jitsu moves. Brandon's actually our Muay Thai coach, so he knows a lot about Muay Thai as well. Mm-hmm. And Keaton's a state champion wrestler, and so he helps me out a lot with wrestling. And those guys are just awesome. They show me whatever I want to see, and they'll take the time. It doesn't matter how many hours they're there for me. Mm-hmm. My girlfriend, sometimes we don't have a lot of people, and so she'll get in there and help me. She actually fractured her wrist helping us.
Punching you?
No.
I was gonna say that's always an interesting combination. You have girlfriend and boyfriends training together.
Yeah, for sure. Now she just does it when we don't have a lot of people. But I really appreciate that too. She's awesome.
So you say you're getting more people out there now, and that's I'm guessing because you're out there in Tooele. I mean, it's probably one of the only MMA gyms out there, right?
Yeah, we're the only one really.
So when you guys are showing up, I mean, that's really a close, tight knit family type situation because really you guys are all each other's got out there, right?
Yep, exactly.
Do you get a lot of people in like your size, your weight class out there to train with? Because I see you post a lot about your training, and I'm always trying to see like who people are training with, who they're working with, and I don't remember very clearly, but it doesn't seem like you have most people are considerably heavier than you, right?
Yeah.
Do you see that as an advantage or a disadvantage to you?
Both.
Yeah.
Like I think the closest person to my weight's probably 10 or 15 pounds bigger than me. It's not like a huge difference. When I went against Johnny Gallardo, I was supposed to fight at 125, but the guy ended up pulling out, and then I had to fight at 135, and so that was a pretty big jump for me because I was only weighing around 120 pounds 2 years ago.
Oh wow. Yeah,
so it was crazy trying to make that weight. But
so you were trying to put on weight for this fight, for that fight?
Yeah, for that fight I was, so I was able to fight because I didn't know I had to be within 10 pounds. It was like 2 weeks before, but somehow I ended up getting there. My ass off.
You may be one of the few fighters in the world who had that problem. Trying to put on weight for a fight. I imagine. Do you feel like that was a benefit, or did you feel like that you wished that would not have been the case? Because I would imagine you might have been feeling a little lethargic or a little just bloated or whatever.
Yeah, I was like, because when I got there they had the weigh-ins at the bowling alley in my town, and he was running around. He didn't make weight the first time, I think, and he was running around the bowling alley. Yeah, so I think he barely hit 135. And I was kind of like, dang, I don't know. It didn't end up being a problem in the end, but at the beginning it was kind of like I'm going against this bigger guy who's had 3 more fights than I have, and he's almost overweight, so he's going to come in a lot heavier on fight night. Yeah, for sure.
Do you remember? Do you remember what you officially weighed in at? Were you on the weight, or were you just within the 10 pounds?
Yeah, I was 125 exactly.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wore all the heaviest stuff I could too.
Yeah.
I think because if I wouldn't have made it, I just had my underwear on. Then they would have let me put my clothes back on. And my mom actually had these ankle weights, these little 2.5 pound ankle weights that she put in her purse just in case. Because I had family that came out from Colorado.
Oh, wow. So you were ready to put on a show no matter what.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember. Yeah, that's I mean, hats off to you for just saying, you know what, I'm not only am I going to fight up, but I'm going to fight up on a guy who's probably going to be much bigger than me, and just being willing to just do whatever it takes to get in there. There's not a lot of people who do that. There's not a lot of fighters that would take that risk, and that it worked out for you. You went and got yourself a win. So, and I think probably hopefully that the comfort in that you were able to do that because you do train with bigger guys. You do train, you are in there with people who weigh more than you, so you kind of already have a feeling for what it's going to be like if you go in there with someone that's heavier than you.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. I think Truman's 170 right now. And so just fighting against his strength is always good. He's got a pretty long reach. So.
Yeah. And you say you were originally in there training with Zach. I'm assuming you're talking about Zach Cavender, right?
Yeah, I was at the beginning. Now we have some good partners for Zach and some good partners for me. So I was
gonna say, because that dude's an absolute monster. So I would not imagine it would be even fun training with him, let alone going in there and getting in a fight with him. So
yeah,
again, that's like you're getting thrown into the Shark Tank right away.
Yeah, for sure. But Zach's like a gentle giant. He's never hurt me or anything, and I've never tried to hurt him.
Yeah.
That's probably why I've never gotten hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. What is sparring like out there in your camp? Are you guys heavy spars? You guys light spars? What's the routine you guys go through to make sure, you're not whatever, you guys are ready for the fight?
I'd probably say it depends on the day.
Okay.
But usually we're all really good with each other. Sometimes, we just have those days, but I feel like we're all really good and really close, and no one wants to hurt each other. We just match each other's speed. Sometimes it's faster than usual.
Yeah.
But that's good too. So.
Yeah. I'm always, that's always something I'm curious about. I'm very, cautious about, fighters that spar hard all the time, and I'm pretty adamant about, that the dangers of that. It's pretty much proven by now that sparring hard all the time is not good. And I talk a lot with fighters about, in the first year, in the early parts of your career, you probably do need to spar hard quite a bit just to get that feeling, the timing, the what, whatever. But after a while, you really don't need it. And the mindset I put myself at is I'm going to go at 75% always. Like I'm not going to go on 100% in sparring. It's just not something I'm going to do personally. And then I see no point in going 50%. So I'm always at 75% no matter what. When I'm in there, 75%. And I always feel like that's pretty good timing. Or pretty good, whatever percentage to be at. But I like hearing that. That you guys are careful with each other out there. I do always get concerned about you guys that are that are out there doing it all the time and in there all the time, because hard sparring can really wear on a fighter. So I'm glad to hear you guys are being smart out there. We've talked about you putting on weight, but are you cutting weight for this fight, or is this just your natural weight that you walk around at? What's your situation there?
I'm kind of cutting weight a little bit this time around.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot or a little, or do you not want to talk about it?
I don't really want to talk about it.
Okay. All right. You're 3-0 right now, and I mean that's great record. Pretty early in your career. Do you have any of the fights that you've been in that feel like it's really tested you so far, as far as being a fighter, or have they all just kind of been pretty easy at this point?
I'd say the second one pretty much tested me a lot. The second fight when I went against Nelson. In the back, my nerves were pretty bad, more than the first and third. I don't know why, but I just ran in there and I rushed him pretty much, and I don't know, that wasn't me. I didn't like that fight. I was pretty disappointed in myself because I didn't have like the self-control to, make myself calm down and be able to read him out. But if I could go back and do that fight again, I would, just to be more calm. And yeah, I'd say that second one was bad, I guess. Yeah,
so it wasn't as much of a test of your physical abilities as it was your mental state, your nerves, and just kind of how you approached the actual fight.
Yep, it was more mental.
And what did you do to correct that the third time around? Did you specifically do anything, do you remember, to change that, or did it just kind of happen because it was your third fight, you're a little more comfortable?
Yeah, when I got in there, my third fight, and I jogged around the cage, I try to feel like more present in the moment, and I just try to feel as calm as I could. I was listening to my coaches the whole time Brendan Reese walked out, and I stayed as calm as I could, and I felt like I did a pretty good job. I was able, and my coach Keaton Romero, was like, just treat this like a really hard sparring match, and I did. And I always love Brandon in the back. Brandon always makes me feel calmer. He always making me laugh and stuff. I love it. Just says funny stuff. And Keith is always talking to me. We had Daniel Good back there.
Yeah.
Holding pads for me. And I felt good that night.
Yeah. Do you always have the same corners go back with you, or does that switch around? And do you specifically have like a mindset of who you want back there with you? Because like you just mentioned, Brandon keeps you laughing. He keeps it kind of lighthearted. Is that I mean, do you prefer him because of that reason, and then you bring Keith because he, is more technical or whatever? Do you have like a game plan with your corners?
Yeah, so Keith and Brandon really usually run the fight camps. They're always there, and they always see what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. They always tell me what I could do better. And so I always bring them because they know me best.
Okay.
And then for like a title fight, I always bring Keaton in because, he works on me a lot with wrestling, and he knows my wrestling, my jiu-jitsu good. So I like having people there that like know my flaws and know where I'm good and stuff and mm-hmm. what to tell me.
Yeah. So if you so this we've mentioned earlier, this is a title fight that you're having for us here at Still Fist. So if you win, you'll be holder of 2 belts. Does that mean you're soon going up to the pro level, or are you gonna ride this amateur out for a little while longer? Do you have like a mindset of how many fights you want in before you go to the pro level?
Yeah, I'm gonna ride it out a little bit longer. I don't know. Just way more experience, I just want some experience. Like one of my favorite boxers is Lomachenko. Like everybody's,
Yeah, who doesn't like him?
Exactly. He's had like 800 or like 600 fights or something like that, and I don't know. I just want to, when I go pro, I want to be able to look like him and just get that experience, and so I don't have those mental crashes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I talked about in my second fight, just to be more seasoned.
Mm-hmm.
Gain a little bit more weight, so the weight cuts are a little bit more.
Yeah. And you're still very young, right? I mean, how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 22.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 24 or something. Maybe I'll put on some muscle then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. You're in a very good spot. I mean, you're 3-0, and I always when you get to the pro level, it becomes a little bit different. I'm always I'm always of the mindset that eventually everyone's gonna lose, right? And you want to get those out of your way early. Because later in your career, that's when they really start to count. That's when they really start to matter. I don't wish losses upon everybody. I wish everybody could win because that's always the best feeling in the world. But reality is, we all have bad days. We all get caught. We all, there's always situations. So to really put that time into your amateur career and, and really get to feel the ups, the highs and lows at that point is a lot better than jumping into the pros and then really starting to learn at that point. Because when you start to learn at the pro level, it's a completely different situation. So, I think you got a good head on your shoulders the way you're planning to do it, to ride out this amateur career a little bit longer, because you're still so young. You still have so much of your career ahead of you and so much to learn. You've just put yourself in a situation to I mean, you're 3-0, so you've put yourself in a very good situation early on in your career. So I think you're doing all the right things. So I like to hear that game plan. 2 more years of amateur fights is you can get plenty in that time. So I know if you get this belt for us, we're gonna be putting you up to defend it over and over again. So we like title fights at Still Fist.
Heck yeah, I'll be there to defend it too.
Yeah, yes, we love that. So let's. I was going to ask. Neither of you have gone to the 3rd round, from what I can see in your records. Do you think this is the fight where you guys are going to see a 3rd round, or do you imagine yourself putting them out early?
I don't know. I don't really like to try to guess the future, I guess. I just like to roll with it, whatever he gives me, however much he gives me, whatever I can see. I don't want to put my mindset, I don't know, I kind of think of it like my little brother. My mom always tells him, if he gets a home run, she'll give him like a video game or something.
Yeah.
But I feel like that puts pressure on him, So if I say I'm going to knock this guy out in the 1st round, that puts pressure on me. But I want to go in there. I want to feel my flow. I want to transition. I want to stand up. I want to wrestle. I want to do jiu-jitsu. I don't want to put anything on that.
Right. So have you been watching Eastwood for a while? You've been watching tape on him. Do you have a good sense of what this fight's going to be like? What are your thoughts going into it with that?
It's kind of funny. I've seen every single fight that he's had.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it's kind of been by accident, except for the last one, of course. But when you guys used to have him at the indoor soccer arena, I went there for Austin and Zach when he fought. I think he fought Jaden Marshall that night. Pretty sure that was his first fight. And I watched him, and those guys battled. That was a good fight, and I loved that fight. They beat each other up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I saw him in his second fight. Him and that kid went against each other. That was a pretty... It was a fast match. He went back and choked him out, and then the third one, he's a pretty entertaining fighter. He's really aggressive. So
yeah, he does. He likes to come out quick. He likes he likes everything with a lot of speed, which is usually what's very fun about your guys' weight class. Is it's always a very fast weight class. There's usually not a lot of fast finishes in that weight class, but everybody moves so fast, and you guys all have amazing cardio. So normally, if it goes to the third round, it's exciting for all 3 rounds. Which I'm a big proponent of good cardio, so I love your guys' weight class. It's always the funnest for me to watch.
Yeah.
And also here in Utah, I feel like that you guys actually have a very stacked weight class. You've got yourself, Eastwood. You've got both the Marshall brothers. You've got my teammate Jordan Munoz coming up, and you've got and then Jackson Randall as well. So you guys have got just in that, I got 5 or 6 guys that are exciting, putting on exciting fights. So you guys is one of those more stacked divisions in here in Utah. And everyone I just mentioned, you're all very fast. You all start the fight very fast, and I feel like all of you are very I guess not all of you, but most of you are very what's the word I'm looking for? You're all good on the ground as well. Do you have wrestling background or jiu-jitsu? I mean, before training, did you have any ground? Let's see, how am I trying to phrase this question? Did you have ground training before going into martial arts, or is this all something you've learned since you were 16 starting to train?
Yeah, since I started to train at 16, that was pretty much it. I didn't wrestle or anything. My dad didn't like wrestling. He had a negative attitude towards it, so I never got to do it. But I always watched WWE.
Yeah. Okay, now we can really talk. Who's your favorite wrestler?
I like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, how could you not? How could you not?
Yeah, but just growing up, I actually learned my first jiu-jitsu move. I don't even know what jiu-jitsu was, but from my cousin Anthony. My cousin Anthony's like 5 years older than me. And he watched MMA a lot, so we'd do a lot on the tramp. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, but it was fun. And
yeah.
I had a lot of the WWE stuff I tried to do with my friends,
Yeah.
And I remember one night I went over to Anthony's house and we were watching UFC, and we watched this guy get leg kicked to a technical knockout. And so he wanted to play UFC after, and he ended up kicking my leg until I fell down. But it was brutal. It was brutal growing up because I was the youngest one, so I always got antagonized and stuff like that. But I still love everybody,
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't bad or anything, but I just look back at that and laugh. It was fun.
Well, are we gonna see any WWE moves in Friday and August night's fight?
Probably not.
No stunners?
No way.
What about a rock bottom? I feel like a rock bottom could be legit. I feel like that could happen. If there's been a few times in training I've been like, I think I could land a rock bottom right now. If I slip a punch and slide up underneath the arm, I feel like I could land it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's that one that Edge does at RKO, where he grabs the guy by the head and dunks him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do that in a guillotine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like a DDT.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could land that easily. You got me geeking out over here. Or I mean, you could just, my dude, My favorite of all times is Shawn Michaels, and you could land that sweet chin music. That's a legit kick. That's a legit head kick.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Shawn Michaels when he was on. I can't remember what he was on. It's been so long since I've seen WWE, but me and my friend would always watch it at his house every single night.
Yeah.
French Barney. Shout out.
Now, you look at that sweet chin music. Look at that. I bet you could land that in a fight. Just practice it. That's an easy one. That's a head kick all day.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So you talked a lot about your opponent. The way you see him, what you kind of think he's going to be doing in the fight. What strengths do you really feel like he has? What are you looking out for in this fight against him? And where do you feel that you have your strengths over him?
I mean, I know, but
if you don't want to share it, that's fine.
Yeah.
I get it. There's game plans to this. Some people will say, yeah, I know he's a knockout artist and blah, blah, blah. And other people want to keep it to themselves. It's totally fine if you want to keep it to yourself. We'll move on to, so this is your second fight with Still Fist. How do you enjoy fighting for this organization? What do you like about it? What could we be doing better? We always like to hear, what fighters are thinking.
Yeah, I really like this organization. It's really professional. They always send me tickets when I ask for them. They're really good at that. I got a lot of family members that like to get tickets late.
Don't we all?
I appreciate that. And Pat and Kevin are really easy to work with, and they always give me good matchups, and they always communicate with me very well.
Perfect.
I don't think I really have anything to say other than that. Like, it's a great organization, especially for local. They bring people from all over Utah, and they even stretch out to like Randy Couture's gym or Excite MMA. I've seen them on the card, and I just like to go and watch too. Me and my coaches and my teammates and my girlfriend will all just go out just to go watch a Still Fist fights, and I really like that. It's a great organization. Yeah,
I'm glad that you mentioned that. I've often thought about that. Just being part of this organization and wanting to make it grow. I really appreciate fighters that might not be on the card or have teammates on the card, but they still come out as a team to come out and support the organization. Because the way I see it is the only way we're going to grow is if we start supporting each other and we start coming out. And the thing is if the organization makes more money, then the fighters make more money. If we get more people out there, then we're able to pay the fighters more. And so fighters like yourself in your team that comes out and supports it just because you're supporting MMA, not necessarily your fighter or your guy, but you're just coming out and supporting MMA. That's huge. If we could get every gym to be doing that, it would actually it would be better for everybody. So I really actually appreciate that you said that you guys do that. So thank you for that. We're going to go on to the most famous segment that we have here on the show, which is the trash talking segment. Everybody loves that. Just kidding. I don't think anybody really cares other than me. I think it's funny. So you ready to do a little trash talking?
Yep.
All right.
On August 9th, I'm going to beat Michael Eastwood because he's a boner-sipping toilet squeezer.
There you go. With these trash talks, if it has the word boner in it, I think I'm like a high school kid or a junior high kid. If it has the word boner, I always laugh. It's always way funnier if it has the word boner in it. So,
that was my second nickname in high school because everyone thought the teacher put an N instead of an M.
So I'm glad you went with boomer. Boner would be a tough one to shake at the end of the day, and you don't want to have, if you're fighting, you don't want to have the nickname boner.
Oh, for sure. I kept my head down after that.
All right. Hey, man, I know you got some sponsors. Why don't you go ahead and thank them for all that they do, because that's without sponsors, it's tough out here for fighters. So go ahead and thank your sponsors.
So I'd like to thank 12 Martial Arts Academy. Thank you, Keith, for helping me and for putting so much time into me. Also, thank you, Brian, Brandon, and Keaton. I also want to thank Get Fit with Ty. Thank you, TJ, for giving me a great camp and making me better, faster, stronger. I also want to thank Gustavo Rodriguez thank you, Gustavo, for answering all my questions and giving me a great ground game. And I want to thank Tranquility Spa and Massage. Thank you, Christine, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to make my body feel great. And I want to thank C5 Coatings. Thank you, John and Shawnee, for helping me buy new gear. I also want to thank Jenny, the foodie realtor. Thank you, Jenny, for helping me pay for half of my camp. And I also want to thank Total Air Handling. Thank you, Uncle Ray, for helping me pay for the other half of my camp. And I want to thank Damage Plan Athletics. Thanks for selling my shirts and helping me make some money. And then I want to thank Virtue Barbershop. Thank you, Aaron, for always making my hair look so dang good. And then I want to thank my cousin, Stevie Torres. Thank you for always believing in me and helping me along the way. And that's all of them.
All right, perfect. What a professional. If Boomer doesn't work out, you should go with the professional. You had the script all ready to go. That's nice. I know that your sponsors and all your teammates are gonna love hearing that. So thank you for being on the show, man. Good luck August 9th. Everybody, if you know Andrew, make sure you get tickets from him. And family members, don't wait till last minute to get tickets from him. Get them from him now. Let him rest at the last minute. Don't make him drive out to you and get your tickets. So everybody else, get your tickets from Andrew. If you can't get it from him, go to stillfistfight.com to get your tickets. Again, Andrew, thank you for being on the show. And I look forward to seeing you August 9th, my man.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
You too, man. All right, everybody. There you have it, Andrew Boomer Ariano. This is going to be a good one. This one, I think, like mentioned, I think this is going to be a real fast fight. I think that, like I said, even if it goes 3 rounds, it's still going to be exciting for all 3 rounds. Both these kids, are going to have a gas tank for days. They're both super skilled, and you're really not going to miss out on this co-main event. So, get your tickets now at stillfistfight.com. If you like this episode, even if you don't like it, if you just watched it, then it's worth giving it a like, subscribe, and a share. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on iTunes. And you can find us on iHeartRadio at The Undefeated by Choice by Stillfist. You can find Stillfist at Instagram at Stillfist Fight, and you can find us on Facebook at Stillfist Fight Night. And anybody, if you're a fighter, I'm just going to put this out there now. If you're a fighter now, you reach the matchmakers on Facebook at Stillfist Fight Night. So that just makes it easier. A lot of people write the Instagram page, and then I have to send them over to Facebook. If you're looking for a fight, reach the matchmakers. You can message them at the Facebook page at Stillfist Fight Night. Everybody, August 9th is coming up quick. It's just around the corner. We're going to have an interview with Michael Sunday. I'm going to interview him Sunday, so that his episode should be out Tuesday or Wednesday. Everybody, this is a stat card. This is a good card. I'm so excited for this card. I feel like it's been forever since I've been out to a fight, and this is an excellent one to come back to after a little bit of a break. So make sure you go and get your tickets now. Stillfistfight.com. Everybody, be good to yourself. Be good to each other. I love you.